Good evening, folks. Welcome to a very special installment of the Daily Wiretap for the evening of April 12th, 2017. I am your host, as always, Amiibo Jason, but there is so much news. A massive heap of Amiibo news and Nintendo news. I just can't do this wiretap on my own today, so I had to call in the reinforcements, and who better than the amazing, the talented, the most, probably the coolest guy I've ever met in my entire life. We have TJ. You know him from our YouTube channel. You know him from Smash Supremacy, from Custom Conquest, from Me v Me, from all the other amazing things he's doing. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing amazing. If I ever become a professional fighter, I want you to be my my announcer, because that was quite the lead-in.
I'll be your hype man. I can be your hype man. I can take that.
I'm super pumped to be here. Thanks for having me on, Jason.
Trust me, I could not do this without you. For many reasons. I mean, you are one of the only people besides me that probably get as hyped about Amiibo as I. And Cloud, Corn, and Bayonetta have been officially announced, and not only just Cloud, Corn, and Bayonetta, but they also have something called Player 2, which is an alternate outfit for each of these characters. So yes, we had to wait for over a year, but now we get double the Amiibo goodness, and for our patience, which I think is more than fair. And on top of that, we have new Splatoon Amiibo, and on top of that, we have new Pikmin Amiibo. And there's something about, I think, something like Zelda Amiibo. You know, I'm not into the Zelda Amiibo.
Were there Zelda Amiibo announced?
So yes.
You know, I blew my lid when they announced Cloud, Corn, and Bayonetta, because everybody has, the anticipation, the hype has been built to such a din that it actually simmered down, and people were starting to be afraid that they would never release. And not only do we now know exactly when they're scheduled to come out, but what is with this Player 2 stuff? Female Corrin for me is definitive Corrin, and so there has been no precedent for having any of the alternate skins released from the Smash line. So I was hopeful when the, what are they, CSPIA? When they were coming out, it looked like...
Excuse me.
Oh, thanks. Sorry about that. Well, when they were coming out, it made me mildly hopeful, but I was totally blindsided by there being an alternate Cloud and an alternate Bayonetta, which then, now my brain is going in all kinds of crazy directions where I'm like, is this the beginning of a new wave? Is this Player 2 thing going to continue? Are we going to get Elf and Koopalings and male Wii Fit trainer? Who would not love to have a male Wii Fit trainer? It's
been on the top of my list for some time.
You and me both, buddy.
So let's go down the list here real quick, just so we can kind of give everybody an idea. Because I'm assuming they must not know. I think all of our listeners must be under a rock. But we have two Bayonettas. We have the Bayonetta 2 version and the Player 2 version, which is Bayonetta 1, in a pretty darn suggestive pose. That's fine. I'm not going to judge that. We can get back to that later. We have a Cloud, which is based on his Final Fantasy VII, the classic Final Fantasy VII pose. The Player 2 version of Cloud, which is based on the Advent Children pose, which is my favorite. We have a male Corrin, and the Player 2 version is a female Corrin. So those are the Smash. We also have a new Inkling Boy and Inkling Girl amiibo for Splatoon 2. These are not reskins, thank God. I was concerned we were going to see another kind of form of reskins, but these look completely different. They look absolutely amazing. They're breathtaking molds. I love them to death. And the squid. The squid is like leaping through the air on like this like trail of ink, which is so cool.
Best squid yet, for sure.
By far. And it's purple, my favorite color, in case you guys were curious what to get me for my birthday, something purple. We also have a brand new set of Pikmin, not a set, we have a brand new Pikmin amiibo with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Pikmin on it. We have red, yellow, blue. We have I think they're called the rock Pikmin, the black ones, and the pink Pikmin. It's so well done. It's such a cool looking amiibo. So we have that one, and then, as we mentioned before, we have 3 brand new Zelda amiibo. This is kind of bittersweet in its own way. The Zelda amiibo, I should say. I would have loved to be surprised by these, but everybody, I think, knows that not too long ago, somebody data mined Breath of the Wild, and they found amiibo data for these 3 amiibo. So seeing them is no shock, and then Best Buy accidentally put them up for pre-order, like, way too early again. So the surprise is kind of dead on these three, but it's still incredibly cool to see. I'm going to kind of give this over to you, TJ, and I really want to hear your opinion on these three specifically.
Well, I do agree that a lot of the impact of these was diminished by having so much information about it ahead of time. Not even just the Best Buy leak, but also the data mining. And then even subsequently, some computer geniuses out there are able to somehow manufacture the Amiibo data for scanning into the game, even without the figure. So we not only do we know did we know they were coming, but we also have some very good idea of what they do insofar as Breath of the Wild is concerned. But I was super pumped to see these figures, and if I have it my way, I will take a Link from every single game that's ever released. That would be my dream. And so I think we all knew we were going to get a Majora's Mask Link and a Skyward Sword Link and a Twilight Princess Link, but we didn't really know which art they were going to go with. Nintendo has thus far, from Smash all the way through the 30th anniversary figures, been using iconic art that already existed. They haven't made any original art, which for somebody like me who played these games when they originally came out, it's amazing because I've had posters on my wall of this art from 20 years ago. And then to be able to have a little figure that I can now play in the game that I'm playing now is just mind-blowing. And with some of these, like Ocarina of Time, they used maybe a lesser-known image, but it harkens to what the game is about. Otherwise, maybe it's a different version of Link. So by giving him the Ocarina, you know what it's referring to. Yeah. So I was curious with Majora's Mask, where you have infinite options and there's tons of art for that game, not to mention transformation forms. So there was a lot of speculation that it might be the Fierce Deity Link. And
I would have loved that, by the way.
Me too. Fierce Deity is hands down my favorite version of Link from any game, and that you can don his armor in Breath of the Wild is amazing. And we already know, if you've checked out the official guide, or if you've been I guess this is a soft spoiler because I don't know who doesn't already know this, but the Amiibo unlock different costumes, and the official guide tells you that corresponding Amiibo will unlock the Fierce Deity, and so it's I think a safe assumption at this point that the Majora's Mask Link is what does that. And so we get this super, super awesome, cute little young Link, which is the first young Link that we've received in Amiibo form, and he's holding the Goron mask. It's a very recognizable piece of art from the game, from when it originally released, and it just looks super awesome. It's hard for me to be disappointed that it's not Fierce Deity, because while I would absolutely be over the moon to have that Amiibo, I love it so much I customized my own of it. But I'm just as pumped to have a version of Young Link, which I'm already thinking I need like 50 of these to customize.
Yeah, you need to make me one. You got to make something really cool with it. I completely agree. I'm excited to see all three of these. I love that the Skyward Sword Link is the exact same pose as the first for Figures statue that came out. I can't wait to put those two side by side to see kind of the difference between them. But it's an amazing pose. I absolutely love it. What else
on
is
that
there really
note,
to
Jason,
say on them, though? I mean, it's complicated. I'm this massive rush of emotion at this point that I was expecting maybe 2 to 3 Amiibo to be unveiled today, and now we have 13. So it's awesome. It's amazing. Really bizarre to think about.
Well, on that line with the first 4 figures, who make tons of really cool statues based on Legend of Zelda art and even some original poses. But with that Skyward Sword one, there's also that company Medicom who makes the ultra detail figures, which made a Skyward Sword already, and it's probably, in my opinion, the most iconic piece of artwork because it was featured on the cover of one of the games, and it's him holding a sword straight up into the air.
Yeah,
and those are also in the 2.5-inch scale, so they scale perfectly with Amiibo, which made me really curious if Nintendo was going to use the exact same piece of art that Medicom used for a figure that would be the exact same scale. And then also the unreleased Medicom second wave of ultra detail figures has a young Link holding the Mask of Truth for Majora's Mask. Yeah. And it looks pretty similar to this one, but yet it's a different one. So for me, I'm going crazy between those and between these. And obviously the customizing possibilities are endless. I know that that's not everybody's application. That's not where everyone's mind goes. But even just having these figures and so many different links is today's. When you called me and asked if I wanted to come on, I screamed, "This is the greatest day of my life," because I'm just super, super pumped to have these. Do we have a date on these?
Yeah, we have a date on everything right now. So Splatoon 2 Amiibos, they're coming out on July 21st. The Pikmin Amiibo is coming out on July 28th, just a week later. The Zelda Amiibo are coming out on June 23rd. And all 6 of the Super Smash Bros. Cloud Corn and Bayonettas are coming out on July 21st. So within a 34-day period, we are going to have 13 new Amiibo. This is probably the biggest Amiibo dump we've seen since the rush of the Super Smash Bros. Line. I have not seen this many high-quality, amazing Amiibo in 1 month, at least like a 30-day span. I don't think ever, except maybe there's one wave of Amiibo in Super Smash Bros. That was maybe close to this, but not quite. So I think this is going to re-engage the Amiibo community. We did find out that the Player 2 versions of these, at least this is what I took from it, are going to be retail exclusive to some extent. We don't know what retailers are getting what yet. But if these things become more difficult to get again, or if, let's say, the Player 2 versions become slightly more rare, that is going to reignite the Amiibo community. And I have said this so many different times on so many different newscasts that we need something to get the hype back, and this Player 2 thing could be exactly what they need to do it. Yes, retailer exclusives can suck, especially for people that want like 100% complete collections. But if they do this right, and they do it in a way that they at least put some sort of rarity behind it, I think the Amiibo community is going to be better for it. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the Player 2 line could be. I'm fully expecting by the end of this year, because I'm guessing at E3 we're going to see the announcement of Super Smash Bros. For the Switch. I'm expecting a full line of Player 2s. And in the cases of the Koopa Kids, Player 3, Player 4, Player 5, Player 6, Player 7, and Player 8. Did I get that? Is that all of them?
That would be amazing if they did go that route. I would have if you suggested this yesterday, I would say, wow, that's a great idea, Jason. I too would like it, but that's never going to happen. Now I don't know. Now we're back in that really exciting time of anything's possible. Anything is possible with these things.
The thing about it, and the thing that really just kind of piqued my interest on these, if these were one-offs, it would just say Cloud Advent Children, or it would say Bayonetta 1 or Bayonetta 2 or female Corrin, male Corrin. But the fact that they made a logo that says Player 2, they are totally going to be using the Player 2 line in the future. And that makes me incredibly excited, because I know the Fire Emblem fans, they want their female Robin. I think many people have called her their waifu on my Twitter feed more times than I can count. And that's fine. Good for them. But they wouldn't go to the trouble of making a logo for it. They wouldn't go to the trouble to, slap that logo right on the box to differentiate these two lines, to only do it for these 3. So I'm expecting Nintendo likes money, and I'm fully expecting we're going to see more of these announced at E3, and thank God I can't wait.
I hope you're right. What I would speculate at this point is if Smash for Switch is going to be a port of the Wii U version, which would make a heck of a lot of sense for them to do, because it's an amazing game and it takes 5 years or so to make a new one. So to just kind of pump up the Wii U version to the next level and put it on the Switch and maybe combine the content from the 3DS and all that good stuff. Part of what made that game so exciting at the very beginning was all of these Amiibo coming out. And to make all of these Amiibo again, or re-release all of these Amiibo, is not near as exciting as if they find some way to make a completely new line, but also completely connected to the previous line. So we're not just getting new figures, we're getting figures that have always been a part of it, but just haven't been available before. If that's the direction that they're going, color me excited, because that's mind-blowingly awesome. But, you know, you never know. Maybe it could just be a one-off. Maybe it was like a thank you for waiting so long.
Yeah.
So that's totally possible. I would not be surprised if this was all we saw of it. And I would not be surprised if this was kind of their way of trying to ramp up Amiibo for the Switch. Because we started with this huge line for the Wii U, and it was phenomenal. And if they're trying to capture lightning in a bottle again, what better way to tap into every single property that they have and give you some Amiibo from every single franchise Nintendo has a hand in than to do it all over again for the Switch?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I have 100% faith that we are going to see something from this, even though I think on the Wiretap 2 days ago, I said there was no way we're going to see Cloud Corn and Bayonetta, and I was dead wrong. So I was actually talking to Laura and Happily Candied about this earlier today, that I have pretty much a 100% failure rate when it comes to calling things. So maybe I shouldn't call it. Maybe I should just say it's never going to happen and then watch it happen. But
okay.
I'm hopeful it's going to happen.
We did trade some texts about this before, where I was like, hey, is Nintendo going to make my dreams come true and announce those 3 Zelda Amiibo? And you were like, probably not. And I was like, how about the Smash? And you're like, probably not. But to your credit, you did call Female Corrin months ago.
I did. That's only one thing ever. So that's it. And pretty much that's a 50-50 shot. Female Corrin is, if not, it is actually, it is more popular than male Corrin.
True, but it's unprecedented. There's never been another time in the entire Smash wave of 58 characters where Nintendo has used the alternate pose.
Yeah.
Female Corrin is the better Corrin. Everybody knows that. Sorry, male Corrin fans. But with male Corrin, I think people are like, okay, the male is the default, and so fine, we get the male Amiibo. Bowser Jr. is the default, so we get the Bowser Jr. You can change the skin to whatever you want in the game. So it was a very, very safe assumption that male Corrin was going to be what it is. But here's where I'm curious. In Fire Emblem Echoes, it did specifically separate female Corrin from male Corrin in the functionality breakdown. So that makes me think then, is the NFC chip unique? Where does it, if you were to scan them into Smash, are they identical, or does the player 2 automatically know that it's female Corrin?
I would imagine it's going to be the latter on it. I'm guessing we're going to see each one of these have a completely unique NFC chip. As you mentioned before, the fact that Echoes separates these two out, I'm thinking it has to be that way. But again, for Smash Brothers, we've never really seen anything like that. I mean, we did see it with the Mii Fighters, where you can program a specific Mii Fighter into it and scan it in that way. So maybe Smash isn't going to have any problem doing it. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be a big deal for it to differentiate between the two.
And even if it didn't, it's no problem to just change the skin like you can with any of the other ones. But then for use in other games like Fire Emblem and stuff, Link is actually a great example, because we have now, I don't know, like a dozen different Link Amiibo that will scan into Smash Brothers, and they will all be Link. Yeah. And for the purposes of Smash, there's no possible way to distinguish from these NFC chips. But then you scan them into Breath of the Wild, they all have something wildly unique. They give you different items and other stuff like that. So that's kind of where my curiosity is with these Player 2 Amiibo, is if there's 100% perfect parity between them, where the games, for all intents and purposes, the games don't distinguish between them.
Yeah.
But if you scan them into the right game, then they give you some kind of unique functionality. That would be amazing. If they find some way to do that, that's some next level Amiibo stuff right there.
We're going to find out soon enough. Soon enough. It's going to be so quick. So it's going to be E3 and then 13 new Amiibo. That's going to be pretty much how my summer's going to go, and it's going to be the best summer ever. So quick recap. Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, we have, again, all 6 coming out on July 21st. The Zelda Amiibo, we have all 3 coming out on June 23rd, and that consists of Skyward Sword Link, Twilight Princess Link, Majora's Mask Young Link. We have the new Pikmin Amiibo, which is going to be coming out on July 28th. And real quick, I just want to talk about this for just 1 second. And we have the Splatoon amiibo. We have an Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl, and a purple Inkling Squid. Those are coming out on July 21st alongside Splatoon 2, which is an awesome release date. I thought they were going to push it back further into the summer, so I'm happy to see that it's coming out July 21st and not in August. But real quick, these three amiibo are actually going to be used in this new photo taking feature in the game that's going to be shareable through the social media feature on the Switch. So that's going to be really cool. I haven't had a chance to go in depth to see exactly what these amiibo are going to do besides that. I saw tapping them in gives you different clothing items, which is neat. But they did say all the other Splatoon amiibo and Callie and Marie are going to be working in Splatoon 2 as well. So lots of stuff to look forward to in that game. But again, that's 13 brand new amiibo that are going to be out in June and July. I can't wait. I'm honestly completely psyched. I appreciate you coming on and helping me kind of wrap up all of this amiibo news. We are going to be doing a full newscast soon. We're going to talk about everything that went down today. TJ, I'd love to have you on too.
That would be fantastic. Thanks for having me on today.
Rock and roll. Again, if you want a recap of everything that happened today, even though we only talked Amiibo today in the Wiretap, if you even want to call this a Wiretap, look in the description below. We have a link to the full written article, and head over to NintendoWire.com. We have so much news from today that we couldn't even begin to try to break it down into one segment, so check it out there, and you can find it there. If you only really care about Amiibo, we have a full Amiibo breakdown that has all of the box art, high-res images of every single Amiibo, and the functionality. You can find that on our website as well, so head on over. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna have even more stuff then, and until then, thanks again, TJ.
Yeah, thanks for playing.
Bye, guys.